Oh, boy.
I've been waiting for this one.
A lot of rings. Not in a while.
Love this city. I love it here.
Coming off a great year. Oh! Hello and welcome to the team profile and projection for the third-ranked team by you, the people, the New York Yankees. I don't remember how last year ended for them. Let me check out the sheet. In the DirecTV Rewind. It feels like you know what happened. Ready to transform your baseball watching experience? Head to directtv.com/John Boyer. Scan the QR code on the screen to learn more. Last year, 94-68.
Good.
First in the AL East. That's fantastic. Road Dogs. Best record on the road last year. Versus teams that are 500 or better. Number one.
Crushed it.
This is all good. Second best run differential. Third in runs scored per game. They went to the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
They lost. They lost in a memorable fashion. And I know they lost an important guy this offseason. Trevor, who did the New York Yankees add? I have no idea.
You don't know at all.
I don't know.
We're going to rely on you for a lot this episode. I want to start by saying I do not hate the New York Yankees.
No.
I don't. Okay. I'm just talking about a ball club that I'm looking at right now. They had to replace Juan Soto. We'll get into that later. But because they had to replace him, they were able to go out and make meaningful additions to this team. Starting with starting pitcher, my friend, Max Fried. 8 years, $218. I'll never pay for a dinner again. I'll never pay for a dinner again.
Me either.
He's been with the Braves. People talk about Jose Ramirez being an underrated ball player. Max Fried, underrated left-handed pitcher of our generation. Just an absolute stalwart down there in Atlanta. Comes over. Now he's the ace of the Yankees. Paul Goldschmidt, one of my favorite players. Yeah. Maybe ever. He's past his prime a little bit. He comes over from the St. Louis Cardinals on a 1 year, 12.5. That's okay. I love Paul Goldschmidt.
Let's find out if he's past his prime. I don't know.
You're doing this thing. Okay, and I don't want you to do it. That's who they signed. Yeah. They made some areas better through trade as well. Yeah. Cody Bellinger comes over with a trade with the Chicago Cubs for Cody Petit, and he will be starting right in center field for your New York Yankees. I like this signing a lot. Legacy guy, right? Yeah. Dad played. Yeah. That's nice. Devin Williams. Heard of him? One of the best relievers in all of baseball. You like to call him Team USA's closer, Devin Williams. Yes. With the Airbender. He comes over from the Brewers for Nestor Cortez and Caleb Durbin and some cash. They also brought in reliever Fernando Cruz from the Reds, catcher Alex Jackson from the Reds, and Michael Arias came over from the Cubs as well, another relief pitcher. Some guys off waivers, Alan Winans, Brent Hedrick, Braden Shoemake. And then maybe most importantly, they brought some guys over on minor league deals that are going to be in the rotation, like Cookie, Carlos Carrasco, Tyler Matzik as well. Dom Smith, who just opted out today as we record this, had a chance to make the team out of spring training. Not going to happen. So they had to add a lot, and they did add a lot, and it was very quality the offseason that they had, Jake. But they did lose some people.
You mentioned the big guy. I'll start there. Why not? Juan Soto went across town to the New York Mets. They got the family. They got the money, $800 million. And we're wishing him the best. No Yankee fans have said anything ill about him or his defense. Best of wishes. Clay Holmes, he did the same. Are people talking about that? He's their opening day starter.
Yes, he is. He's dealt in spring training.
Yeah. The Detroit Tigers have Gleyber Torres now.
A bearded.
How do you like that?
Gleyber Torres.
Yeah, I like it.
We'll get into that, by the way.
Tommy Kahnle also went to Detroit. Okay, New York and Detroit. John Birdie's a Cub, had a big second game of the season. Tim Mays is out. Alex Verdugo just got signed by Atlanta. Nestor Trevino, Cody Poteet, Taylor Trammell, and Carlos Narvaez were all in trades. Anthony Rizzo still unsigned. We'll see if something happens there. And Lou Trevino. Trev, the Bronx Bombers. It's what this franchise is built on. The short porch, Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Judge, Jeter.
Yeah.
Plouffe. What's the lineup look like?
I wouldn't call this the Bronx Bombers, but I think that is a well-rounded lineup. The more and more I look at it, Austin Wells, who is going to be one of the guys that I think can really make or break the season for them. He'll be behind the plate, possibly leading off against righties. They might have a little platoon action there. We'll see how that goes. Aaron Judge, obviously, in right field. Judge's corner. Cody Bellinger, as I mentioned, will be in the middle of the lineup in center field. Paul Goldschmidt, I believe he's batting leadoff in spring training today, so that could be a thing during the year against lefties. We'll see. Jazz Chisholm Jr. at second base. Yeah. I like that move a lot. I think Jazz is another one of those guys, man. If he goes off, could really lengthen this lineup. Anthony Volpe, I kind of like him down at the bottom of the order a little bit better. He'll be at shortstop. Jason Dominguez, what are you going to bring to us this year? Big guy, got a lot of your rookie cards. I'd like you to just go off this year. He'll be in left field. Ben Rice will get the nod at DH to start the season off. And then I think this is one of the biggest question marks coming into the offseason, and the Yankees have, I guess, kind of answered it. Oswaldo Cabrera will be the third baseman there to start the year. On the bench, J.C. Escara, Trent Grisham, Alex Jackson, Oswald Peraza will be mixing in as well, some possibly at third base a little bit there. On the IL, they do have Giancarlo Stanton, who's dealing with double elbow tendonitis, both the elbows. DJ LeMahieu strained calf. He'll be out until early May as he works back from that. Some names to watch: Spencer Jones, Everson Pereira, and utility man Pablo Reyes. Jake, I guess give us the Garrett Cole news. If you haven't heard it, I don't know where you've been, but it is a Yankees preview. And then give me the rotation in the bullpen, please.
So if you don't know, Garrett Cole is getting Tommy John. He will be out for the season. See you next year. Garrett. Luis Gil, Rookie of the Year winner. Luis Gil should be out till about mid-season. Lat strain. Yanks are going to be careful with him. Let's see. JT Brubaker. Haven't seen him in pinstripes. Old Pirate. He's banged up. Let's see. But the rotation stands as Carlos Rodon's getting the pill on opening day. Max Fried, game 2. Marcus Stroman. A lot of trade rumors. You're our 3 man. And then Cookie Carrasco. Officially breaking with the Yankees in their rotation. Hopefully that's fun. And Clark Schmidt, who was really strong last year but was also hurt, currently dealing with a little bit of back stuff, but we're going to see if they have to do any funny business. If they do, Will Warren, top 100 prospect, should be in the mix for the Yankees. After that, don't even ask me. It starts, we're already on starting pitcher 8 or so. In the bullpen, though, this will be good. Devin Williams closing. Luke Weaver, one of the breakout stars in last year's postseason. And then from there, it's Yankees grab bag, but I think they do deserve credit. Their bullpen and their bullpen coach, Matt Blake, pitching coach, they've tapped into guys the last handful of seasons now that Tim Hill is back. Ian Hamilton, Mark Leiter Jr., Fernando Cruz has some crazy strikeout numbers. And then it's going to be a little hodgepodgey. Yoendris Gomez, a.k.a. Yogo. We'll see if Brett Hedrick makes a team. Tyler Matzick's there, but he's a little banged up. Jake Cousins, same. And there's going to be a couple other bodies riding the bus. But these are your 2025 New York Yankees. So with that, Trev, and for anyone audio only, we are at our warehouse. Me and Trevor are in touching distance. So this episode already had a chance of getting physical, and it might get physical. So I'll let you kick off. What do you want to hear, or what do you see, or where are you with the New York Yankees?
Physicality is not always a negative thing. It can be a positive thing.
The human body craves it.
The energy that two bodies can create together can be magical.
Seen it.
Okay. Where am I with this? They're too high in our rankings. I think anyone can agree with that. That's fine. This was done before Garrett Cole.
If injuries were out, if Stanton, Hill, and Cole were healthy, which when people were doing this, they were.
I would not mind a 3. Fair. Because I do think that they are with those guys in. You're talking about one of the best teams in the American League, and that's where we're at now.
Maybe 2 Hall of Famers and a guy who won Rookie of the Year.
So yeah, okay. I think I always kind of start with the lineup. We can get into the pitching a little bit later. I think there's a lot of potential in this lineup, but I do think it's not. Because I'm going with where's this floor, where's the ceiling.
Right.
And I think that it's probably a little bit of a higher floor than a lot of people are giving it credit for. But I do think there is a little bit of drop off there. If there's some second year stuff going on here, we still really haven't seen full years out of 1, 2, 3, 4 of the guys in the starting lineup. And you'd like to see that.
Right.
Okay. You want to see more of a track record. What's Anthony Volpe? What's Jazz Chisholm going to do? Can we get some bounce back from Goldie? I know he ended the year well. What's his complete role going to be by the end of the season? I think there are some question marks. But again, I'm looking at this lineup, and there's a lot of versatility to it. There's some athleticism to it. And I think there are ways. This is not, like I said, not the Bronx Bombers necessarily, although they're going to have some guys obviously in this lineup. There's Judge's always there to hit the 3-run homer and to drive in runs that way. But again, I think there's a chance where we can see some small ball, taking the extra base. We're going to expect better defense out of this group. So there's a lot of things that coming into this exercise, the TPPs that we do, I think after looking at the roster and kind of seeing the way it's shaped up, I'm more in on the Yankees than I probably thought I would be. Because not only the lineup, though, the starting pitching, I think they actually have depth that I like to step in to start the year.
The Yankees, I'll do the lineup. It's interesting because there's a lot of talent to be liked. Cody Bellinger, last year with the Cubbies was a quote-unquote down year. He was like a 111 OPS plus guy. Hitting at Wrigley and hitting at Yankee Stadium are two very different tasks. Whatever the metrics tell you, sure, but also ask any Cubs player showing up to Wrigley for a day game, and they're like, the ball's not getting out today.
Could be good, could be bad, could be great.
Right. There's a couple nights that the opposite story does happen. Cody Bellinger in that short porch, you'd like to think there's magic to be made there. If you average out Belly's last 2 seasons, that's still a really good baseball player.
Yeah.
That you love having him in pinstripes. Paul Goldschmidt, like you said, the floor there is probably last year. He played a lot of games. Yeah. The Cardinals were hurt, and he had a big second half. There's a floor there that you like with Paulie G. Jazz Chisholm, man, if he's on the field, you like that. I guess where things get weird, we've got a lot of young guys.
Yeah.
Austin Wells, rookie. His bookends were horrible. He had a bad April, a bad end of the year. He ran out of steam. People saw that in the playoffs. During the middle, he was really, really good. So high on base, a little bit of slug. Leadoff catcher, you don't see that a ton.
No.
He's going to get first crack at it. Our guy Jason Kendall, Talking Baseball Fame episode, was the really leadoff catcher.
Well, Austin Wells, for a young guy, has what you want to see with a guy that you think can progress.
Right.
The walk percentage, in the 90th percentile in the league last year, that's what you want to see from a young player.
Right.
He's seeing the pitches well, and then it becomes just small adjustments where you can kind of, you talk about the bookends of a season. If you're seeing the ball well, that's first step.
Right.
Then get your timing down. You've seen pitches. You're more accustomed to the major league season. I'm expecting him to be a better overall player than he was last year, and he's a defensive guy. If he can, hit in the 250s, the on-base percentage all of a sudden becomes in the 360s and 370s, and you're talking about, wow, for a catcher, you're at a plus. So I like Austin Wells a lot.
So from the end of April to the start of September, which again, I don't want this to be excuses because I think every team has players that you can butter knife their stats and get closer to what you want. But the 80-game bulk of the season, he jumped into the cleanup spot. The Yankees needed support behind Judge and Soto. He stepped up. For 80 games in the middle of the season, he was 283, 363, and 861 OPS.
Sounds like Rushman to me.
That's a ball player, right? That's yum. So
yeah, and like again, elite defense.
So that's where the part that's weird is. It seems like there's pieces to a lineup that you'd like. There's not a true leadoff hitter, which is always just going to feel weird, but we would have said that before the Phillies TPP when they moved Schwarber up the first time.
There's not a ton of leadoff hitters like that in the game, right?
It's true. It's true. But I guess the other side of that is, even Belly or Jazz or whoever wins the 3-hole, it still doesn't feel like a traditional 3-hole hitter. So there's something like you've lost Juan Soto, a generational hitter. Him and Judge last year, some of the stats they put up is special. The rest of the lineup had a lot of zeros. Alex Verdugo took a while to sign. Anthony Rizzo still not signed. Volpe, they need to step up. That, like, if you're comparing it to last year, you're not going to replace Juan Soto.
No.
Nobody can. The lineup has a potential to be better as a whole. Will the final numbers get there? Probably not, because Judge and Soto are just silly. The on-base and the power numbers that come with those two are crazy. But the whole team should have a different feel, because I might have missed this at the start. They got embarrassed at the World Series, and then the Dodgers talked about it on every podcast except ours for 3 months.
They did.
So, Cody Bellinger, very good center fielder.
Yep.
Aaron Judge was in center. 6'7", 300 pounds.
Yes, and right field is where he needs to be.
Get him in right field with his cannon.
Yep.
So, okay, our center field defense just got better. Our right field defense just got better. Rizzo had a tough time.
Yep.
If you want to go look into it, he got a concussion with Tatis, and everything after that was tough. And I know that's like a sensitive kind of topic a little bit, but go check it out on your own. Rizzo was weird defensively that they had Oswaldo started a game at first in the postseason. John Birdie started a game at first in the postseason. First base should get better with Paul Goldschmidt, even if Ben Rice is platooning with him. Jazz is at second. Jazz Chisholm was learning third base on the fly.
Yep. And looked good.
And he looked solid.
Yeah.
He was an athlete. Second base defense should be better over Gleyber Torres. Anthony Volpe's been great.
Yep.
Third base should be solid if it's Oswaldo or Oswald. So the Yankees are not the thumping Yankees.
No.
Be careful how I say that. But they have a lot of athletic guys.
Yes.
And with a lot of teams, I guess here's the difference. When we do teams 7 through 14, we're in our TPPs, a lot of times we're like, well, if that young guy is good and that young guy is good, then yeah, that's going to be a really good team. When you get a couple of these higher teams, you see a lot more names you're familiar with and a lot of guys you don't have to play that game with. The Yankees lineup is playing that game this year, and
Sure.
it could land in a great spot. If Jason Dominguez, the guy, how many players come out of the Dominican every year? This guy's nicknamed the Martian. First at bat, he homered off Verlander. Like, Yankee fans have to pump the brakes on daydreaming a little bit because he's struggling with fly balls, so we'll get there. But with him, Austin Wells, Volpe, is there more in that bat? We got to find out now. It's year 3.
He seems like a candidate to go do like a drive line thing, like to change some things up, increase the bat speed a little bit. You know, that's
the numbers are weird, man.
You better be. And
Numbers
he's been
are
a
weird.
great defensive. Metrically, he's
Great
been a great
defensive
defensive shortstop.
Great
So you'll
defensive
take that.
shortstop.
But like, if you want to step it up, and I'm talking about, hey, Anthony, listen up right here. I'm talking about a difference between making $50 million in your career and making like $250 million in your career is just some increased productivity, from your offensive side. Like, dude, so, if you want to come out to the lab, I don't have one.
No. I'll be Yankee fans, I think, have not even daydreamt of that because Volpe had the minor league numbers and he got called up young. He came up with the exit velo Yankees that they fired their whole minor league. In his rookie year, he had a bunch of homers, but no batting average. Last year, the homers went down and he had a batting average. He still doesn't have his identity at the plate.
No.
Are you a contact guy? Are you an on-base guy? That bat has more thump than you'd think by looking at him. That it's either all going to come together and we're going to be like, nice, or, dude, find your one thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to work at bats. I'm going to slap it the other way.
I'd go on base if I was him then. If that's what we're doing,
like
I
to
would
think.
I would wear pitchers down and get on base.
That was supposed to be his skill set. We saw it a little bit in the postseason. Hopefully he can build off that.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about a guy he's 23 as of today. He turns 24 in late April. So, like, you can have that dream.
100%.
Yankee fans aren't allowed to have that dream because for the past 2 years, he has been one of the lesser hitters in baseball.
Sure.
So, with him, Dominguez, Ben Rice is going to get some run. Hopefully there's some lemons and lemonade, and we're talking about Yankees that, okay, Paul Goldschmidt, you're here for a year. We're going to give the keys to Ben Rice next year because he looked good. Dominguez, you got left field for 5 years. That's not how baseball always works. that where are the wrenches going to come in with this lineup?
You said it. So Yankee fans, don't get mad at me. There's a lot of ifs.
There's ifs.
There's ifs in this lineup, but there's also a big for sure in Aaron Judge.
Right.
So that kind
Not
of
a lot
mitigates
of teams
it.
have that
They
guy.
don't have that. But there is in that lineup ifs. Moving on, I guess, to the pitching side of it. Defensive, we already talked about, they're going to be better. And that's a huge step
Potentially
up.
good.
Hey, and like if you tuned out right after the World Series and didn't catch any baseball content, the Dodgers were walking on the Yankees' grave saying all we had to do was put the ball in play.
And if you think that's a joke,
they did it over and over again.
The Yankees in division struggled last year because those teams know them better, that they would do that. So the Yankees, those impressive numbers I mentioned at the start, against teams with 500 record on the road, they were bad in their division because those teams knew they had Achilles heel of not being able to play great baseball, which is just insane.
I will mention that as of right now, the lineup is left, right, switch. Like there's a lot of versatility.
The lineup could click and be fun. Like we can take extra bases. We can put the bat on the ball.
We said that about a lot of teams.
Right?
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
So this at number 3, you don't expect to have those question marks. Again, I think Aaron Judge, handles a lot of that, but there are those question marks. In the rotation, they were on pace to have one of the better rotations in all of baseball. When you're talking Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Luis Hill, Carlos Rodon, and then a Clark Schmidt. And then you still have Marcus Stroman. I mean, you didn't even know about Carlos Carrasco until spring training. Obviously, huge hit. Garrett Cole's out, and it sucks. He's one of the most fun pitchers to watch in baseball. He gives us a ton of content.
Yeah.
Love his post-game stuff.
Team leader.
And he's just, he's been excellent for them. So you hate to see that. And then Luis Hill has a strained lat, those are always difficult to come
tricky.
back from. Yeah. So
this spring training, double Tommy John guy, you can't bank and say he's going to be back in June.
No, because he also started the year out really well last year. Then the second half was not as good.
Double Tommy John guy.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're sitting Carlos Rodon opening day. Max Fried's the de facto ace, but the line his day is up. He'll go get day 2. 1-2 punch right there. I mean, I talked about Max Fried being underrated. I think Carlos Rodon, he got the big contract, but I don't think people give enough credit for how good he can be.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys a la Blake Snell where he could turn it on and be one of the nastiest pitchers in the game and strike everybody out. So there's the potential there. I like those top 2. Carrasco has been great in spring training. Stroman, I think, will probably, and this is just me thinking about Marcus Stroman, he probably loves the fact that he was almost traded and people don't want him in the rotation.
They didn't believe in me.
And now here he is. And he's going to shove the first 2 games and just wait till you see, the smirk on his face. He's going to love that. I mean that in the best way possible. He likes to pitch with a chip on his shoulder. So I think the potential is there in the rotation. Again, there's the depth maybe isn't because we've already dealt with a few injuries. So we got to understand that. But I like how you mentioned, I think the bullpen, because of the development the Yankees have been able to have and because of the trades that they've made, it could be a real strong suit for them.
I know there's a lot of teams out there that like their pitching coach and the not the truth behind it, but we talk about it a lot. Pitchers, they still have the upper hand. If you make that sinker run a little bit more, you could have a nice 2 months. That the Yankees, I think Michael Talkin was 3rd in innings for them out of their bullpen last year. In the previous seasons, they've tapped into guys like Lucas Litke, who was out of baseball for a while. Jake Cousins last year came in and was great for them. That the bullpen, even Tim Hill, I know he's his own thing, but off the waivers from the White Sox, submarine and 34-year-old lefty, you're like, this could be the last stop. They tapped into him. He was fantastic last year.
Do you think we get a Devin Williams, Luke Weaver situation like we had with Hader and Presley? Presley was obviously a little bit more seasoned and had led the team through World Series, and Weaver had just the second half of the season last year, but he was the guy.
I guess for me, Luke Weaver.
And is it 8-9 for sure, or is Weaver now in a put the fire out situation?
We're gonna see, because he's part of the Luke Weaver story was he was multi-inning last year, which I think they're going to do again.
Okay.
And it's I guess it's something to watch for the Yankees. Do they want to do? Are there going to be dream days where it's hand the ball to Luke Weaver in the 7th? He goes 7th, 8th. Devin Williams in the 9th. Ball games could be over like that. The Yankees, despite having a good bullpen with some of the guys I just named, Clay Holmes was a liability on the back end, and partially not because of Clay Holmes. And
he might have been great with the Yankees this year.
I want to circle back to Stroman. Stroman had a really good start to last season. He ran out of speed a little bit. But Marcus Stroman, when he was on the Cubs and he was nasty, think about the defense he had behind him. Dansby, Horner, Belly, Happ. Clay Holmes was a contact closer. Doesn't always work. Sounds good. Doesn't always work. Clay Holmes. It's a great gif, if we're just being honest. Clay Holmes and Marcus Stroman, they were contact guys that got hurt by the New York Yankees. And if you didn't believe that, go watch the World Series. Go watch the tape. They lost game 1 because Soto and Glaber couldn't make a relay throw. People forgot about that because game 5, they lost at home in one of the worst fashions a baseball team can lose. So I think these Yankees will be able to pitch. I think these Yankees will be able to catch the ball, which has been very different than past years, and it's weird to actually say that. For me, is the offense fun and clicky, and Austin Wells is getting on at a 360 clip, and Judge is Judge, Belly's finding the porch, Jazz is electric, Goldie is liking the pinstripes, or Goldie's old. Jazz used to have injury stuff. Belly's trying to hit home run. Like, I don't know. The stories of baseball that can happen. I think it's the offense. If this team has a top 8 offense, I think they're a very good baseball team. If this team is 12th in offense, I think they're good. If this team's below middle of the pack, and dude, that's what gets me mad about the Yankees, and here we are. Bronx Bombers, dude. Go through every good Yankees team. They mashed.
Yeah. Times are a change.
Are they?
I think so.
Braves could mash. Dodgers mash. Houston mashes. Texas Rangers mash their way to a World Series.
I think it's more and more difficult to develop mashers in today's game. The pitching is so good.
Exactly. You mentioned Carlos Rodon in a way has become underrated. Like his year-end stats last year, not that impressive, but it was really a couple bad starts, which was funny. I listened to you and Kyle Gibson. You think I wouldn't? Had to make sure you guys kept the course. But Kyle Gibson was like, you take out my worst 4 starts every year, and I'm nasty.
Yeah, take out my worst couple of weeks as a hitter. You're like, yeah, well, that's way better.
Exactly. So Rodon was that guy for them last year that you liked seeing him with the ball in his hand. Let's see where Max Fried is at. Can he be that true ace? Do they need that? They're going to throw the ball, and then it's how good are those Red Sox? How good are those Orioles? How good are those Rays? I didn't realize some people are like in on the Rays being the Rays again, which
you pick Shane McClanahan in your Cy Young draft.
If they go 18-9 out of April, I wouldn't be surprised. Like they're Tampa. So if this lineup has a lot of blood in the water and the young guys are struggling and the rest of the division's there, the threat level could come up pretty quickly.
That's going to happen at some point in the season. How long can it happen? That's the question.
Right.
How consistent can this be? 2 points before I think we get to the DraftKings over-under. One, I think Goldie is going to be really helped out by the short porch as well. Arizona used to be a hitter's park. It doesn't play that way anymore. But I do think a guy like Goldie, who at his best uses the entire field, if he feels like, hey, I can stay on this ball and still slug to right field. Like I don't have to pull the ball.
Right.
To hit for power.
Yeah.
That really, this is what hitters think about. So I think, who was the guy that didn't go to, it was JD Martinez. I'm going to the Mets because I can stay the course hitting to right field.
My ball goes out there.
Yeah. So I think that'll help Goldie almost as much as it'll help Bellinger. You're talking about dreaming of Belly hitting homers into the second deck in right field. I've been to the second deck at Yankee Stadium. People forget that. I think even more majestically, you'll see Goldie hit one to right field and be like, is that gone? Oh,
whoops.
Yeah. So that's great. You talked about the infield defense last year. both Volpe and Jazz in the 90th and above percentile for outs above average. Oswaldo in like the 75th to 80th, and then Goldschmidt obviously has had really good years defensively. So I do think that Clay Holmes would have been better this year for the Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
And I do think Marcus Stroman will benefit greatly from having a better defense. So those things all hold true. And I'm back in on the Yanks a little bit.
It can be
a
fun year in the Boogie Down Bronx. It would just be a different brand of Yankees baseball. That I guess these are my dark thoughts are before the season when you're saying it's going to be a different brand of Yankee baseball. I'm not sure about the lead off, or the 3-hole hitter. Sometimes those are things you look back at and it's late July and you're like, well,
obviously.
Hey, we missed Soto.
And Garrett Cole.
Let's get into the DraftKings over under. Hoops fans, it's the most exciting month in college basketball. Sure is. It's running right now. The underdogs are happening, and you can be happening at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you use code Talkin. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use code Talkin. Bet just $5 on any wager. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code Talkin only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
This is difficult. Obviously, they made the adjustment on this after Garrett Cole got injured.
Stanton.
Heel. I'm sorry. It's
okay.
I just want to check a few things. I have our super producer, Robbie Scirocco, checking where I went in the rest of the AL East.
Oh, all right. Man of balance.
I'm just curious. He's getting it up.
Orioles, you took the under 87.5. You got the Boston Red Sox, you took the over 81.5.
Yeah, I ran and bet that.
And the Rays were kind of high up there they were ranked 21st by our people, and you have them over lock at 81.5.
Oh, yeah, those two teams are locks.
They're low.
So 89.5 is the DraftKings over-under win total for the New York Yankees.
89.5?
They got to win 90 games to cash the over here, Jakey boy. I have two overs at 81 or 82, and I have one under with the Birds. I didn't believe in the Birds, apparently. I think I have my answer. I know you do.
Yeah?
In 3, 2, 1.
Over.
It's over.
It's the New York Yankees.
I think they're going to.
Right? I hope.
I think they'll be aggressive at the deadline if need be.
Right.
That's where. That so like a lot of that, goes into what I think about these over unders. They luckily had, I think, enough pitching depth where you don't want Garrett Cole to be out ever, but you went and signed Max Fried. That's nice. The offense scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm being honest about that. But I do believe Goldschmidt will benefit from the right field. Aaron Judge is going to be Aaron Judge. Just a few guys got to get it going. And 90 wins is good.
Yeah, the Soto is a huge subtraction, obviously. Thanks, Jake. But I can't hammer it home enough. Like, Rizzo and Verdugo were very bad.
Yeah.
That if Paul Goldschmidt plays average, if Jason Dominguez is something, you just turn two negatives into a positive, math. And I know Cole's out this year, but Cole's getting older. Judge is getting older. You just gave Max Fried a lot of money. Whatever prospect clicks this year, Spencer Jones, George Lombard had a big spring. Like, the Yankees are going to be in it at the deadline, and even I was going to say if they're in bad standing, but with the wild card, the Yankees had their worst season ever, or worst season in 30 years. They won 82 games. They're going to be in it around the deadline, and they should be cashing in assets for multiple years. Like, they need to make a plan for next year, even if this doesn't feel like the Chips all-in team. Next year kind of needs to. Cole's back and all that. So
you took the over.
I took the over.
Okay. 90
wins. They went to the World Series.
Episode.
Subscribe. If you haven't heard, there's another channel, Talkin Yanks. Do a lot of Yankee stuff over there. And allowed us to do all this. So
Also, baseball today.
I know you guys. I know you guys sometimes hate all the Yankee stuff, but it helped allow us to do all this. Let us know what you guys think about the Yanks. Were there true thoughts today, or were there not? You guys are the best. Subscribe. We'll see you with the number 2 team.